Hello, and welcome everyone.
Hi, humans.
Hi.
Hello.
Well, hopefully. I mean, others
Oh no,
too.
non-humans welcome as well.
True.
Hello, beings.
That's me.
So hi, welcome to the Roll20 Roundtable for April. God, it's April. Hello. Yeah, so I'm Bunny. I'm the community manager. We have some awesome people here with us, so I'm gonna have them introduce themselves and talk about what they do and maybe what they've been up to a little bit. And then we'll get into updates at Roll20 and get into some questions. If you have questions, please just type them in the chat, and we'll have some people grabbing them and stuff. But yeah, so Morgan, why don't you go?
Hi, everybody. I'm Morgan. I'm the Chief Technology Officer here at Roll20. I think we're supposed to talk about some of the things that we've been working on lately. For the most part, my role for the last few months has been around hiring. That'll definitely come up in the answer to one of the questions down below too. Also, I'm going to be speaking to some of the stability stuff and where we're at with that in answer to some of the questions further down below too. Gabe.
Hi, I'm Gabe. I am the in-house game designer at Roll20. Some of the stuff I've been working on, there's a bunch of interesting new things that are going to be coming out made in-house that we're excited to get you to play, as well as I've been working on diversifying some of the free artwork that we have. So that is going to be coming up soon. It's something that I was passionate about, and many people have mentioned wanting to see that happen. So committing to making it happen, and if we keep on track, sooner than you think. And then somebody else talk. Luke.
Hey, I'm Luke. I'm the social media manager here at Roll20. I tweet, and I've been tweeting, and I'll continue to tweet until they get rid of me.
Stop him.
That's the way to do it.
I'm also working on the mobile team, so I'll be able to talk a little bit about kind of stuff that's been progressing with that and our pro beta that period.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so why don't we start going through, let's see, last month we did a bunch of stuff. Lots of bug fixes. We got circles up on UDL, which is exciting. We have, I don't know, some other stuff happened, I guess, right? I suppose, maybe.
Yeah, one of the big things we did on UDL2 was we made some tweaks to how the data backend of it works, how we actually send the masks back and forth that reduced the amount of data it uses, so that for a lot of folks that might have been having issues with slower internet connections using it, that should help a lot.
I'm really excited about the circles on dev, though. I have to say, it's really fun to play with. That's what I'm showing on screen right now.
Oh, look. Ooh, circles.
Yeah, circles. There's circles. It's fun. Anyway, it's cool. I'm good. It's fun to play around on the site. That's what's good. We are at
Play
nearly...
around.
Uh-huh.
I was waiting.
No.
I was sitting and watching you all, and I knew.
But the reason there are so many puns on our
Lying
media...
in wait.
Yeah.
We're 4 minutes in.
I don't know pun counter, please. Oh my word, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, Luke and I were together in a staff game playing Burn Bright for a while, and eventually that game was nicknamed Dads in Space because the two of us punned so hard.
It was unreal. Okay. Like, I defer to you. You say that, Morgan, as if we were equals in it. Like, I defer to your mastery. There were some moments where it was like, I don't even know how you got there, and it was so good. Oh man, between that and Humblewood also, which provides a lot of opportunities with the various critters, like you were very on top.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I work hard to cause painful pain when I tell jokes. Yeah.
The entire dev team is way too good at puns, I will say. That's like a legit thing across the board. So, oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, we are, if you can see the little Tiltify ticker, we are at almost 30,000 raised for Code 2040, which is really exciting. We are actually also organizing or supporting a charity event that's going to be happening probably early May for the Asian American community. So we have some other stuff coming up for that, which is really exciting. So, but yeah, basically we have new rewards that will be coming out soonish. Help support people that are actually trying to support Black and Latinx folks in tech, and it will just make everything better. So, but yeah, Gabe, you want to talk about the reserve item for this month?
Sure. So our reserve item this month is Ocean Treasure. So something that we wanted to do is we have so much artistic creativity on our site, especially when you come to land. And we just had the airships. We have plenty of stuff for like air vehicles, but we don't have as much that like offered you the underwater adventure. So that's why we wanted to offer Ocean's Treasure as our reserve item. So it seems like there might have been a little confusion, but just so people know, when you get the reserve item Ocean Treasure, it does have multiple maps in it. What is inside of Ocean Treasure is I think there's 2, maybe 3 actual maps that are set up when you add it on, and they have rollable tables. So the rollable tables, you just right click it and then you can change what the image is to any of the different tables that are on there. There's one that is set up just for like the images that are the bridge. There is one that is set up specifically that's got a terrifying undersea creature that's just reaching out to do chaos and havocery. But it is really awesome and it's really exciting to get to see it. It's by Ori the Cartographer, who we have been able to work with before and is an amazing artist. It's also available as an art pack as well if you just wanted the images. So those images will be inside of your library, your compendium, and you can just drag and drop those into your games. I'm very excited about it. I've actually been like messing around with it and was making me think like, how can I learn, how can I introduce my party to this delightful underwater scene?
We heard that word. We heard.
No, you didn't. What word?
Everyone loves a good underwater level.
It's alluring. that's what I was gonna say. Yes, they really do. Yeah. Don't get me started on the Little Mermaid Kingdom Hearts level. But yeah, I was, because I saw the design and I'm like, this would be so cool for rollable tables, because when you have your party in that area and then as like the DM, you just right click, change it to the tile where there's maybe Kraken tentacles coming out, like the face that they're going to have when they see, oh, we're just sitting on this chat, that's...
And you're on the same page. So like, oh, the GM didn't move you. There's no like new encounter. It's just all of a sudden, oh, there's tentacles at my feet.
Yep.
Rollable tables as maps feels like kind of newer technology. Like it wasn't something people were doing as much on the site previously, but like just being able to jump on the fly like that and like have the same thing and move around, like it's really, really cool. I've seen people do some really cool things, and this reserve is such a great way to show that off too, I feel like.
There's been so many good things with the reserve.
It gives us a great way, especially now, like to showcase how much more we can do that in the future. Just be so like, I've been the person who has had 3 different versions of the same map that I just changed ever so slightly. But now we're making it so that instead of having to click through like a bunch of different individual maps, you can have all of the map like images in one page.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Super neat.
Yeah. But there is plenty more stuff that is coming up. I don't know if you've seen it. If you didn't see it, we had just released more stuff for Pathfinder 2nd Edition fans. I'm a big Pathfinder fan because the artwork in Pathfinder is so beautifully strange, and the Bestiary 3 that just came out on Roll20 has more than 350 monsters drawn from mythology, genre classics, and more than a decade of Pathfinder. And I'm reading that out because if I don't, I will get overexcited about how much stuff is actually in it. I went through, there's like this little cat person that has flame in their hand. I need it to just throw it at people because they're going to think it's cute, and then it basically annihilates them with a giant fireball. But that's entirely different. If you have that item, it does add into your compendium. There are so many different creatures, lore, and even new rules with the brand new Paizo release. And as with other stuff we have, it does have drag and drop integration in the VTT. So you can just drag and drop it in. It'll have the stats, the artwork, everything set up for you then and there. But wait, Bunny, don't we have something else that came out for Pathfinder? What was that?
I can't do a good pirate voice. I was going to.
Hi, Bunny. What was the name of the thing that we had found, that we had? Fine, it was Sundered Waves. Sundered Waves. Since
Too much pressure.
So the first of Paizo's new one-shot line, Sundered Waves, features 4 5th level pre-gen characters and is fully integrated into Roll20 with dynamic lighting and GM layer info. So if you are the one running the game, the lighting is set up for you, and there is info on the GM layer to help make your job easier and keep you having fun. you can instantly get ready to go and just jump into Pathfinder 2nd Edition with your players.
I will also say, having looked at Sundered Waves because I love the pirate stuff.
Yes.
Also, Pathfinder Paizo has a bunch of the flip tiles out, and there are the pirate ship flip tiles from Paizo for Pathfinder, so you could easily be like, okay, cool, I could add a bunch of maps, and you can really build out the adventure even more than it has. Also, the pre-gens are super cute. I totally want to play it.
Aye, buddy. So when you say flip tiles, do you mean like things like flippable tokens? No,
We're all
Bunny, you have to say, I don't
she
understand.
gonna do it?
Bunny.
No, I can't do that. I have to. I have to save any like pretense at acting ability I have for Saturday.
Bunny, all you have to do is say nay or I. I don't. Pirates don't understand.
No.
And start
No.
every third sentence with yar.
Yar, bunny. I am
Doing that
nay.
already today. Yeah.
Fine. The answer is yes. The answer is yes. That they're also flippable tokens.
The answer is I.
Aye.
You were like, it's just iron.
Yar. Why did you all let me be here?
Can we get some yars in the
Just here to
chat,
throw you
please?
off.
And then
Yar or nar.
Yar. Another.
I'm just
another
here to
release
do
we have.
links and play on the VTT. I'm not here to answer questions.
That's
yo.
fair. Look at all those yars. Yar.
Thank you all. Oh, they actually listen to me. That's nice.
It's dangerous.
Too much
Luke.
power.
Yeah.
Don't give Luke this kind of power.
I don't have chat open, so you
2
can post
minutes
as many compliments as you want in there. That's fine.
So something else that we have that we had just released is also Candlekeep Mysteries, the latest release from Dungeons and Dragons Wizards of the Coast for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. It released on March 16th, and based on user feedback, we updated the release to include individual chapters, which is actually really, really nice, because then when you're specifically looking for someone's book or chapter or creation, you can click that, and then it opens the folder in the VTT with all of the information for that specific chapter. You can still search to find the different stuff. There's still a collection of all the different monsters and everything, but it's actually individualized, so you don't have to like Control F to different pages. You have all of one book inside of the VTT in different sections. We wanted to make it easier. We wanted to streamline it. We wanted to make it cleaner. And it makes a big difference when I'm like, which one do I want to look at? That one, open, close. Oh, let's go to the next one, open, close. And if I remember correctly, it is also just like in the book in order of the levels.
Yep. Yeah. Also, the main map for Candlekeep has a path that's called Way of the Lion. So I'm sorry, but that just kind of wins.
And to no surprise, because we are here to provide you a fun experience. And I can say that passionately because I spent not too much, but a lot of time on Roll20 before I got hired here. All of the maps for the individual adventures are also included in our system. And if you get a chance to look at them, if you haven't seen them already, they're drawn and designed in a way that does feel like it's right out of a book, which is cool as hell.
And then this new system for add-ons, right? Like this is like how we're going to be doing anthologies from Wizards of the Coast from now on, right? That's what I think that's cool. I'm glad that we're kind of doing that.
Yep. Yeah. So this is the standard moving forward. We trying to provide the best experience and organize it in a way that makes sense, because when you have a lot of information, it can be overwhelming. So one of the best things that we can do is try to curve a little bit of that just to make your experience easy and fun. So when you get the material, you can just hop in and be like, let's play. Because that's what we do. That's what we want you to do. And that's what I get paid to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. Truly. Just terrible.
Yeah. So one other thing, updated dynamic lighting. Really cool. We talked about it a little bit. Bunny is very excited about circles because Bunny is no square, as we all know. So all Roll20 produced marketplace lighting has been updated to UDL. This week, we start to work on to update the remainder of the creative marketplace items with dynamic lighting to UDL, just so we can prepare for like the sunset of May 18th. We are updating it. We are getting it to where it needs to be. And as it updates, don't think that we're done with it yet, because I can't say what things are happening, but I have had talks with devs about what things are happening, and I need it. So as you continue to support us, we get to make even more exciting features that it's I'm very proud of our team, because very often I have conversations like, can we do this thing? And someone's like, I mean, here's my notes about what's next. And I'm like, oh, excellent. So I can make things for this. Yeah. And
I love every time you're like, I want to do this thing. And I'm like, actually, I know that so-and-so's been working on something that kind of works for that. You're like, and like scurry off.
I get very excited, because then I'm like, oh, so I can make the thing I wanted to make. It's our team works hard. I'm proud of you all. Like, I don't say that lightly.
Yeah, I mean, on the UDL topic, we are cranking away at those promises. Like, we have a bunch of pre-sunset promises that we're going to get fulfilled. I'm really excited because we have some other stuff that we've found as we've been working on those, to either unblock them or do alongside them to set us up for some really cool functionality, including the fact that I guess a lot of people play D&D and Pathfinder, so for some reason a lot of people want a specific functionality for like dark vision and what happens if you can see in the dark but it's like dim light and stuff, and I guess maybe we'll be able to show you that really soon.
Wait, what?
I am so excited. They put in a lot of work to be like, it's not a promise, but it is something that we know a lot of people really want. So just trying to get that functionality in there, and it's also opening up the door for like some other extra cool stuff. So
the amount of stuff that we're doing that even I don't know that's happening is astounding. That's why I turn into the like roundtables. It's like,
it's good to have hype.
There's so much happening. If you can't say what's coming, I just have to say this. If you can't say what's coming in UDL, can you mime it in 10 seconds or less?
Mime it. Hold on. I can't reach the other light.
You're not miming?
I don't think props count for miming. That's like the thing about miming.
You don't have props.
There's like one rule in miming.
You can have props.
Honestly, this is so much fun just to make those two wherever they are on my screen. This is great.
The layout on Twitch is very different than what we're seeing.
Than in the Zoom call? Oh, good. So no one can tell that I'm just staring at myself this whole time. That's excellent.
It's like Bunny's over there, Luke's over there. It's all over the place.
I know you're all in one direction for this one, so like it's easier.
Oh, Zane.
Just be like over there.
I'm on the far left, so I can just point at all of you this way. Right? I don't know. I think I'm mirrored. So I'm going to talk to you about the Site Tools and Infrastructure team and what they're on. They've been up to a lot of things in this last little period that I've been told is boring, but I find to be super exciting. They've been doing a lot of the work of helping other teams to get to a place where they can improve quality, improve testing practices. So they've been working really hard on creating team-specific test environments that are going to let each of our different teams kind of work in isolation, get through a whole lot more of their like edge case testing while they're within the single team without impacting other teams. So that's something we're really looking forward to. They put a bunch more automated testing stuff in place over the last little period of time. They've been documenting a lot of our major infrastructure components to make it more understandable for doing refactors and fixes in the future. And that team has also been heavily involved in doing some of the work to get stability back into a good place.
I didn't find that boring. I think that stuff's really good. That lays down the foundation for basically everything else we need to get done on the site.
Oh no, you're making the site way better. Okay, that's not boring.
Yeah, that team has what I think is the coolest charter, which is to help all the other teams release stuff faster and with fewer bugs.
Listening to the dev on my team talk about how things have improved behind the scenes that I didn't know had improved. It was the moment of like him talking about what things have changed and what runs smoother, and then like testing it out for myself and actively saying, oh, I didn't have any issues. And I didn't realize that I didn't have any issues because it was working right. That's awesome.
That brings us to mobile.
Yeah, so I'm on the mobile team, so I can talk a little bit about this. We have 3 very dry bullet points here in our notes to talk about for this because you can tell that the head of engineering on our team wrote these. But there's something important to note.
Hey, how dare you?
Yeah, I know. I'm sniping him, and he's not even here to defend himself. It's not fair. But we opened up the pro beta last month, March around the end of March. We opened up the mobile app to all pro users so that they could get in there. There's a thread in the pro forum where you can kind of see that information. We also put a post up in our blog so that people who maybe can't access the pro forums, non-pros, can still see all that information. We're super excited about getting it in the hands of users, especially pros who like, Roll20 being founded through Kickstarter, community-backed stuff's really important. That kind of dev is really important. We want to make sure that was alive here in the mobile app as well, and we're really trying to carry that forward. Right now, the functionality that we're officially supporting is we're working on 5e sheets here in the mobile app. You can do various things from there. Non-combat roles is kind of the vernacular I've been using because basically like attacks and spells, we still got to get in there, as well as sending initiative to the turn tracker, stuff that's really high on our priority list, but we wanted to get like a baseline out there so that at least pros could jump in whenever they felt comfortable, right? We wanted to get something out as soon as possible so that you could see, oh, is this going to be useful for my game? Okay, maybe not. I'm going to wait till this next phase, and then I'm going to jump into it. We really wanted to have that tiered rollout where we're showing it. Bunny's got the app up right now on her screen, so you can kind of see some of that business in action. You can also see some screenshots up on our blog there. It looks really sharp. It kind of shows sort of a different approach to the UI than we see on the VTT, which is really, really exciting because it's being built from the ground up for that stuff. And pros highly recommend you head over there, head over to our landing page and download and check it out, play around a little bit. Like I said, right now we're working on 5e. We're kind of considering it like, in video game design, we kind of talk about vertical slices where you sort of, you try to make all the features of a game first instead of working on a single level so that you kind of have an idea of a working prototype of that. We're kind of taking that approach to 5e, right? We're making sure that we kind of have a vertical slice of getting 5e working before we really spread out and think about other systems like that. So internally, at least, that's sort of the kind of way we've been talking about and thinking about it and why we're approaching from that direction to start. Since the beta kicked off, we've been working on some things internally. We've improved tablet support for role templates. So role templates are kind of that's the different ways you can show a role within the application or even on the VTT. We have more support for that stuff, so where you can see we're building for the future and laying some groundwork there. We have some improved screen reader support for roles. We really want to make sure that stuff is important. We're building the app with accessibility in mind first and foremost so that we have the groundwork and it's not something that we go back and try to fix. Rather, it's being something built in tandem while we build this thing up. And then we're just working on some stability, performance, and UI fixes. We tweeted this out a couple days ago, but we're doing some userlytics testing as well to try to build some future improvements, getting a lot of really good UI information from that. We're also getting a lot of good stuff just from our pro beta, which we're running a product board through, which is really, really neat. We're letting kind of users who are in on it. It sort of works like a Trello board or any other kind of interactive board like that. But you can see what kind of dev we're working on and kind of some of the stuff we might work on in the future. And we kind of are being public about that stuff and trying to sort of show how we want to make this thing progress forward, even as we're working on it, which is all really exciting, all kind of a different approach for us. We've been given a ton of room to sort of forge ahead and decide how we really want to go forward with mobile. And I'm really excited to see how the pro beta continues to play out and some of the new features that are on the deck for it. So that's the mobile minute, as we call it. Which would
is that what you call it?
Yeah, we do. We call it every day.
Oh, okay.
Every day we gotta go to the meetings. I stay there for just a minute, say that was the mobile minute, and they're like, we have 29 more minutes to go. But I leave anyway. That's all I've got. So I think up next is character sheets and compendium, which has some built-in stuff with mobile. That's you, Morgan, right?
I can talk to that real quick. I know the character sheet and compendium team push out some changes earlier in the month that were about unlocking some capabilities for character sheets, making it so that a lot of CSS features we previously had to block were accessible. Part of that was to facilitate mobile application, but it also opens up a lot of other things. There's a question about that, so I'll get into it a little bit more. But as you probably kind of gathered from the rollbacks we did to get stability back into a good place, taking back some of the character sheet services, there were some infrastructure issues in that were a key part of the stability issues. Again, I'll get to that in more detail in a little bit, but so that team has also been mostly involved in getting things back into a stable and functional place lately, and have diverted from their other work. They are also doing some kind of quiet tech stuff behind the scenes that's not going to have any user-facing stuff for a little bit, but the ultimate goal of that is to do some real serious improvements to the compendium, and to kind of unlock some of the some compendium features that have been wanted for a long time but weren't very feasible to do.
Cool. So if you want to know what we've been up to, there's always the changelog, and there's the release notes in the forums. So definitely go check it out, because that's going to be the easiest, kind of quickest way. Anything super exciting, Luke and I tend to talk about on social. And then, you can hear us gush about it wherever. I'm going to really quickly kind of go through, if you either like actual plays or like seeing stuff in action on Roll20 and want to learn more about it, we have a bunch of live stream things that happen. So Mondays we have Kids on Bikes, which is with Sharif Jackson and Markia McCarty and Shu Mason and Noir and Kaylee Bray, and they are super funny. Sharif has done something with Kids on Bikes I've never seen. He actually does a GM prep stream on Thursday mornings too, where he like actually builds out the maps and like uses dynamic lighting, and like for Kids on Bikes, which is not a super crunchy thing, you wouldn't expect it, but he does such a good job with the maps and just the prep that I'm always like, crap, I need to up my game, because I have a Kids on Bikes game that I run. I'm like, I need to like, it's really cool. The Monday crew for D&D, they're taking a little bit of a break. They're going to be back to do some really cool stuff with Candlekeep in a few weeks. We've got they're also doing Star Wars Desperate Gamble. So if you want to see the Star Wars sheet in action, the one that like uses the API and everything, that happens on Fridays, so that'll be tomorrow at 1 p.m. And Elf does actually GM prep streams for that as well. So if you want to get in on how it works, because she's actually been uploading her books to the VTT, because we don't sell it, so like she's actually been doing all the work herself. It's really cool to watch and see how that works. We also have a new thing that we're doing with Bully Pulpit, where Jen Vaughn is hosting a Fiasco Fridays thing, the first Friday of every month, where they're going to be showing off a different playset. So if you like party games, if you want to do fun one-shots, that's a super great thing to check out. You can kind of see how it works on Roll20, and it's just a ridiculous game, and it's just good fun, especially when either your GM is like, I don't want a GM today, or you just want to take a break from anything crunchy or whatever. Super good. And then Gabe can talk about the stream he's doing tomorrow morning, and then we can kind of get into questions.
Hell yeah. So the stream that I'm doing tomorrow is Tabletop Table Talk, which is my General Friday talk show. And I've gone into detail about all kinds of different stuff. I have talked with plenty of different guests who are GMs. I have done some creation streams with all of you. But I wanted to go to something that is more opinion, but also just hopefully helpful information, and talk about the core foundations and best skills that you can have as a GM. And it's not going to be a complete list of all of the best skills, and it can be variable, but there are so many different ways to be what I'd say is a good GM. And it's not just about all of the information you have. Sometimes it can just be about your reaction to information that your party brings to the table, because sometimes the best GM is just the one that has the most fun with the people at their table. So I want to talk about ways that you can do that, and also let yourself be a member of the table, not have to treat it that you aren't a player. Treat it as there's the GM and the party, and you're all players. So I'm excited about that. It's going to be fun.
All right, shall we hop into the questions?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, my dog has gas. It's the worst.
Sorry, that was me. That wasn't your dog.
That's terrifying, Luke.
Cross state lines, just...
That's impressive and horrifying.
First question from Logan O'Brien. Any update on the possibility of a custom compendium?
Ooh.
And a few other things, but that one first.
Yeah, so we don't have any direct updates to share here. What I can say is that this is the type of thing that probably wouldn't have been feasible given the way that the compendium worked under the hood originally. And we're looking to unblock a lot of those issues going forward with the compendium service. So now is a great time to champion those feature requests and get them in there on the feature requests boards, because we're going to be hitting a period in the next while here where a lot more possibilities opened up.
I'm so excited. Logan also asked a couple other things about status on dark mode, which I believe someone in chat had also asked about site-wide dark mode. Any news that we can give people about site-wide dark mode?
No news on that right now. I can say that I have seen a prototype of it floating around, but I'm not sure what the status of it is right now.
Dun dun dun.
I will say that the template and color scheme on the app is veers towards a darker mode than what you might see on the VTT. How about that?
Sure.
like the UI, yeah. That comment will make sense maybe in the future. Who knows?
I like when our answers. This is the best way I can say it. I like when answers aren't no.
True. Yeah.
Because if nothing else, if our answers aren't no, next question.
Also, Logan had asked about folders. Folders functionality within the VTT is definitely something that's on our list. So we're looking into things. And then also, Logan asked about moving maps on the VTT, and there is an awesome thing called the Transmogrifier. So if you go into your settings in the game, you hit Transmogrifier, you can click from any game. So I'll grab my Candlekeep game, and I want to bring the Wisteria Vale over, because I love that map. I'm going to drag it over, and it's going to load. And then when I go into my pages, it'll be there. And look, I have Wisteria Vale map in this game that is not Candlekeep. Transmogrifier is awesome. It is a pro feature, but it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next, we got, when are you going to allow clerics and druids to select their spells after a long rest? From Richard. And I know you asked that last time, Richard, but who wants to answer?
I can jump in since I've Googled this in the past before being hired by Roll20, actually. So for people who might not be aware, divine casters in 5e, separate from arcane casters, they kind of have access to all their spells at the end of a long rest. They can grab them. They can pick which ones they want instead of loading up spell slots the way that an arcane caster does. So right now in the system, it kind of looks a little bit more like it's built for arcane casters. While we don't have any plans for changing it any way right now, I can kind of dive into the reason why a little bit better. So integrating spells in the way that it would require for a divine caster means that we'd, because of the way the sheets are currently built, you'd probably notice a lot more in-game lag, just because you would have to load all that stuff, and the sheet workers would have to load all those individual things, right? There's things to worry about, like components, things to worry about, like individual aspects of those spells that would be very difficult to load in and out, and it would probably bog down your games the way that we have it set up right now. The good news is that, like, obviously it's something we could work on in the future. Could be something we change. You know, the request forum, it's a great place to drop down ideas like this and things like that. But there are some workarounds on the forums that you can find. We can drop a link in the chat. I have something in the notes if anybody wants to grab from there. But the forums, they've come up with a lot of cool workarounds to help with this. One of them kind of, you can create character ability macros on the attributes and abilities tab, and then just sort of pull them from there. That's giving you a really high view of how you do it, but it is something that you can work around and make things a little bit easier. Definitely surfacing info like that and making sure that those kinds of things are easier to find is something that we on marketing and definitely in socials want to do a lot more of, and doing better tutorialization. So we definitely want to create more resources so you can find stuff like that and make your games a lot easier that way.
Awesome.
Will we soon be able to print out our character sheets?
Ooh, I've got this one. So those character sheet changes that I talked about, part of which are facilitating the mobile application, have also opened up any other kinds of media queries for CSS for character sheets. So this means at this point in time, there should be nothing holding character sheet designers back from creating specific styles that are targeting printing. I know our character sheet developers that are building our in-house sheets, they're really excited about this and they're really eager to do it. I'm not sure where it slots in on the roadmap, but at this point in time, the thing that blocked us from being able to do that in a good way is gone. And community character sheet developers could start working on implementing that. It should be right away using the new sanitization system.
Exciting. Will Roll20 increase the upload size of files to 25 to 30 MB? So dynamic maps. Okay, basically, we're gonna increase upload size. There we go. Anybody?
Benny, you do this one.
Gabe, you should do this one.
You do this one.
A potato.
So we don't have any current plans to increase the upload size of the files. And just to be certain, this is the size per file. We're always interested in the usage, and it's like a great thing to post about in our suggestions and ideas forum, so that like as other users upvote these things, the best way to phrase that is it increases the priority, because then we get to see how many people actually do want this. It's that weird moment of it's something that we've seen and now we consider, but as we see how many of our users actually desire and strive for that, it makes it easier for us to make it a top or higher priority, basically.
The suggestion forums also is a good place to be able to explain your use case for it. So if you're able to be like, I want folders and this is how I want it or how I want them to work, it helps us a lot to be like, oh, okay, cool. So they want this functionality, instead of having to guess being like, okay, well, this is what this means to us. You know, because it helps a lot, because it also will help the devs kind of figure out different ways to do it. And honestly, I feel like every time that we do a suggestion, a dev is like, ooh, I also figured out a way to do this other thing at the same time. It's like, I mean, that's amazing, but also what? Okay, sure.
You should answer this question.
No. I asked the question. I don't know how to answer. Is there anything being done to increase the reliability of the jukebox function?
Yeah, so we did actually release something last week that was fixing one of the major issues that we were aware of. We definitely care about this. Please do report any issues if you see them. Right now, we've got the ones cleaned up that we're immediately aware of. I'm sure there are other ones that are not on our radar, so please get those in. We definitely want to fix that up. We definitely want that feature to be functional for you.
All right. We have a big one, which a lot of people have been asking about.
Yeah,
Morgan.
I should have a sip of water before I start.
Yeah, can you talk more about what has been causing the recent site instability issues? And will the community be getting any sort of post-mortem analysis?
Yeah, so the issues that led up to and caused the stability problems are pretty complicated. I have a blog post that we're going to be putting out, I believe tomorrow, that should be going into a bit more depth with kind of the timeline and what sorts of things actually happened when and how we got there. But to answer this question at a reasonable enough level of depth here, essentially the new character sheet service had an issue in the infrastructure. It was a misconfiguration in a piece of the stack that controlled traffic coming into the service. What that did was it caused a certain number of requests between our main application server and that system to fail silently without us seeing it. That in turn caused our error tracking and monitoring system to send out a lot of alerts that we couldn't track down root causes of, and also caused our system as a side effect to send out a huge number of external requests. So our main servers were sending a huge number of requests to the character sheet service. We didn't know that was the cause initially, because we've been in the process of pretty big system overhauls and refactoring and altering our infrastructure to increase the number of people that we can support to keep things up and running. And there were a couple of components that had been functioning and stably operating in the old place that they had run before, in this big legacy server that we call Prod1, that used to be the single server that we hosted the whole site on. That hosted a few things like a data store and a load balancer and a bunch of other tools. What we didn't know was, since we've moved all of our servers off of that, it wasn't obvious that that machine had also become unhealthy. So when this extra strain emerged because of these problems with the character sheet service, it caused this cascading event where one after another services on this old Prod1 server started falling over and breaking. So that led us to kind of doing this big goose chase where we would go around, we would find something that was sort of a smoking gun cause for the problem. We would fix it. So, one night we went in, we completely rebuilt the data store, placed it onto another machine, and then the service stabilized and everything looked great. And it was good again for a couple of days. We thought that that was the fix. And then the load balancer started to fail, and that was another problem. And so we kind of just progressed through these cascades of failures and events. And, I really apologize. Our communication during all of this was not particularly clear to folks. I think at every point in time during it, we believed that we had found the root cause and had created a permanent solution. And so our communication was at a level that I think would be correct if that's what was actually the case. And then the issue would come back and we'd have to go back to chasing things down again. So that was really challenging. But I'm sure, it was extremely impactful to all of our users, and that's not something that we want to be doing. So at this point in time, we've got a really firm idea of what those root causes were. We've rolled back some of the things that were initially causing it. We fixed all of the infrastructure components. There's no longer anything that directly affects the performance of the server, of our servers for you on that old production one. I'm not sure how many of you attended the last time I was on Roundtable, but we're now using much more modern infrastructure. We're using auto scaling. Instead of running that one old ancient server, we're running between 100 and 300 servers at any given point in time, depending on the amount of traffic that we've got. But we've now also, as of today, pushed the character sheet service back out, and that's been operating all of today in with a lot more stability. So all of those things that we had to pull back in order to get things running smoothly are back out now. We're still in a stable place. We do still have one more issue that we're chasing down right now. We're aware that after we do new deploys, there's a period of time during which some users will see timeout errors. We're fairly certain that we know what the root cause of that problem is too. We're going to be testing out fixes for that over the weekend. And in the meantime, we're planning to not do any additional deploys so we can make sure that we're not reintroducing that. So right now, as of this time and what we're aware of on the development team, all of the sources of instability, of crashes on the VTT, of games not loading, should be repaired. If they're not, those are issues that we're not aware of. So please do let us know. We have a couple more small fixes that we're going to be pushing out at the beginning of next week. But beyond that, we're at a place right now where we're fairly confident moving forward that we'll be back to the stability that we've had for the previous several months. We were very proud that we were at 99.98 or something like that percent uptime for about 6 months straight before we broke it in March. We think we'll be back there pretty soon. We're really sorry for the inconvenience. I'm not in a place to speak to what else we might be doing after it, but you will have my blog post tomorrow where I get into much more detail about the specific systems that failed on what days, what fixes we did when. Hopefully that helps for those of you who are more technically minded who really want to know what was going on. And then we're going to be performing as well a full postmortem inside the studio tomorrow, where we're hoping to find kind of systemic root causes. So we know which technologies failed and which things we did that led to those problems. But what we want to do right now is come to an understanding of what parts of our development processes let that happen, so that we can be more certain that when we're doing large scale changes like that in the future, we're not making the same mistakes.
Thank you. I think you pretty much, was there anything you wanted to address with the next question, which is what are the plans for future updates, UI interface updates, and keeping up with the competition, which is quickly gaining ground?
Yeah, so there's a lot to say here. Again, my last time on Roundtable, I got into a lot of detail on this, but we're definitely not accepting the status quo for the quality of our service. We did a lot of work last year. Like I said, in that Roundtable talk, we went from 2 servers at the start of 2020 to rolling between 100 and 300 servers, depending on the time that we're at when it's running. We've now broken off our first microservice, which lets us scale more effectively around particular use cases. We're continuing to do a whole lot of refactors on the virtual tabletop and around our website itself right now to allow for us to work more quickly and effectively with less risk. The team doing UDL in particular has been doing a lot of cleanup and refactor, and we're looking forward to a period of time in the future where we're going to have the ability to make a lot more movements, make a lot more changes without that old technical debt getting in our way. Let's see, we have that site tools and infrastructure team right now that we've spun up to be a specific and entire group of developers who are focused on nothing but infrastructure and putting all of our teams in a good place to be able to move fast and have higher quality. We have a lot of automated testing initiatives that are underway right now. We're working on creating more stable test environments that will allow us to get more exposure. We all play games on Roll20 during the week at work all of the time, and we're working towards getting that to be something that we can be doing against our latest release, our upcoming release rather than our latest release, to help us catch more things that are more based on edge cases and the kinds of odd things that only come up when users are actually poking at it. Lots of stuff going on there. We've also been doing a lot of hiring this year, bringing in some people who are real specialists in particular areas of the technology that we haven't been able to deliver on that well. We've got a lot more folks that are focused on the VTT right now. So in addition to UDL, we're definitely looking at wanting to get some upgrades and modifications there. We've got a new designer who's coming in who's going to be helping there and easing up the bandwidth for our existing designer who has had to carry the weight of UX design for the whole company up until now. We're also bringing in some folks to help us really polish some of our rough edges, like the video and voice chat, and I could go on and on with examples, but definitely getting things into a state where not only are we able to address longstanding issues, but we're also able to really innovate at a rapid rate is a top priority for my team right now.
Does somebody else want to ask the questions? We're on the dynamic lighting ones.
You said that's why you're here.
Okay, fine then. You can answer them.
Bunny, I have a question for you.
You do? Oh, Luke, what's up?
Yeah, Luke, thank you. Washington Post. When will you implement dark vision, that is dim light, to updated dynamic lighting?
Cool. I'm going to do that. I'll do that right now.
Yeah, when are you personally going to do this for me?
I will say I did actually get to play with it 2 days ago. So yes, this is actually something in the works. Like, I was able to play around with it. There's a couple of things. There's a little bit more testing that we're doing on our side before we get it on the dev server. But it's extremely exciting. It was very fun to poke with. So yes. Just
follow up. Just one from the group here. Is there development plan for new features in UDL post LDL sunset? I screwed it up. Somebody else finish it. I can't do it anymore.
Oh, sorry, Luke's done.
Well, then no, then because you can answer it. Nah, we're not gonna. We actually there's a lot of things that it's been really fun. So this is one thing that suggestions forms is great for, because the two devs who are kind of the lead on doing the dynamic lighting both play on Roll20. Like, one of them is a GM in the game as well, and like they are extremely excited about doing a bunch of different things. Which is
in
great.
One of their games.
But that means that they're gonna, like, if you all speak up with exactly what you're hoping for, what you're looking for, maybe say doors, that kind of thing, one-way lighting, it'll help them prioritize and focus in and not just be like, well, I want this thing. But yeah, it's really great because there's some really cool stuff in the works which is how circles came to be and freehand tools getting worked on, because we really think that you're going to adore what can kind of come out of that. Sorry, that one of the devs is very insistent on using the adore. They think that people are just going to adore it. So
I don't get it. I'm just kidding. What if I just didn't, though?
ask Corey.
Thank you for answering my questions, Bunny. I appreciate your time.
Hey,
before we move on, Gabe, it sounded like you were about to do like a fast-talking reporter voice.
No,
and finish reading questions.
I got it. Bunny, I'll take care of this one. Gabe, I actually have a question for you. Is there any chance that we'll see Pathfinder 2nd Edition Adventure Path support? Well, actually, Gabe, I'm really, really glad you asked that question. We have been asked this question before. I remember. I was not here, but I was here. Yes, thank you for asking again, just in case. We have been asked this question before and have mentioned starting at the top of the year, we don't currently have any Pathfinder 2nd Edition Adventure Path releases on our roadmap. I used a specific word in that sentence. We've been prioritizing day and date support of the major Pathfinder 2nd Edition book releases because they're coming out like hotcakes. People say hotcakes a lot. That's a weird thing. We're gonna come back to that.
there is so much coming out.
Discuss the popularity of hotcakes later.
But like I even talked about the Bestiary 3 that just released. So we do hear you asking about this, Gabe. We do, and everyone else who's not Gabe, for Gabes and non-Gabes. We're coordinating internally on a plan to better support additional Paizo content that's moving ahead. And so hopefully we will have an update for you on that soon. Updates usually come when we have reached a milestone. So us not having reached a milestone to update you does not mean that there is not currently progress. Just so there is that reassurance. Thank you, Gabe. But I'm taking a note from
Great job, Gabe.
that clever Luke
and
person.
Gabe.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Well,
thank you, Morgan.
not-
I like this Gabe
that
now.
Gabe,
He said
not
something
Gabe.
nice about me.
Just Gabe, not Gabe.
Not the other Gabe. But speaking again, Gabe, I have another question that I would like to. Whatever. Modifius is taking pre-orders for their 2D20 Fallout RPG. Will there be an official character sheet compendium for it? When might we see those, Gabe? Well, we can't say anything yet. But like I've said before, we have a lot of exciting announcements coming up this year for new systems and titles coming to the Roll20 marketplace. So as we have milestones, we're excited to share them with you. And this sounds...
Okay, I know that he's been silly, and I know he said a lot, but like literally, I do not understand. I don't think any of you have any idea how much a lot actually is. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. It's amazing, but it's
the reason that you see, when you see announcements from us, you see them in large bursts because it's trying to give equal attention to many things that are happening at once instead of just highlighting this thing this month, this thing this month, this thing this month. It works very well if we give you 4 or 5 different things to learn and be excited about than just have one person excited for this month, another person excited this month. We want to create as much excitement for you as possible. Basically, it's like birthdays. Like, you don't really get things for your birthday every month, but you get a lot of stuff on your birthday. So that's Roll20 is your birthday. That's never quote me on that.
Our new tagline.
Roll20 is your birthday. Somebody
birthday.
clip that. Thank you. We want to use it on social. We need to get that gift.
Escape wearing different costumes.
Imagine Don Draper pitching that.
I don't question.
Roll20 is your birthday.
All right. That was actually all the pre-submitted questions, so we should get through the chat questions that we haven't answered.
We got a bunch of them.
Oh yeah. Let's breeze through.
So much focused on UDL and the mobile app lately. What's on the horizon? That's a good question.
Oh my
Good
God,
one.
so much. Like, what I can say is, I got hired to make fun things, and I've been given the ability to make some fun things. And like, even internally, I'm like I was playing something that is on the horizon soon, and I was like, oh, this is fun. Like, it was supposed to be, but I made this and it was fun. So there's a lot of stuff using existing tools and new tools that you will see. I don't use the word soon loosely, but like I said, Roll20 is your birthday. So when your birthday comes around, you're excited and surprised by how much was actually happening. Ooh.
Will there be a Steel Defender option for Charactermancer? What book is that in?
I don't know.
No.
Is Steel Defender, was it? Because I know the Iron Defender.
While
we'll find out.
Figuring that out.
Just Googling.
Yeah, we're like, I've got Google open right here.
You just hear clicking in the background, and we're like, oh yes, obviously Steel Defender, which was Battlesmith. Yeah.
So Luke, what are you drinking?
Oh, that's a great question, Bunny. Thank you for asking. This is an orange LaCroix. The store was out of Pamplemousse, so we decided to take a risk and try orange. And I gotta say, I'm into it. This is now within the top 3 LaCroix flavors. I would say this is dethroned some other ones.
Steel Defender is from the Eberron Rising from the Last War book.
There you go.
I will look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there were issues, I will look into that.
Question: would there be an option to turn tokens hidden for those who don't control it, like for battle royales and duels? So
technically, you could do that by just putting them on the GM layer.
Yeah, that's the way I do it for my games that I set up. Is I put them in the GM layer. Anything that's hidden or stealthing or that you don't want the players to see yet, and then just you right-click on it and send it to the token layer when you're ready to reveal it.
Well, and one of our Spotlight groups does a battle royale, and they use dynamic lighting. So like they have people that are not able to see. You can't see each other's light. You can only see your own.
Yeah. Well, the other reason I say the GM layer is because that way, then they can be in the same spot they left.
If it's the GM, yeah. But if it's player controlled,
yeah, they're talking about like for PvP stuff, right?
Then
dynamic lighting is the easiest.
Yeah, dynamic lighting is going to be the way to go there.
That'd be a good tutorial to put out. Something about making.
I would love to do a battle royale tutorial because our group that does that, they're so good. It's cool.
You would like someone to do it, or you would like to do it, because one of those means me.
Someone can do it. I don't care who.
Next question.
Luke, if I got a pro account, would players who play in games I control also have access to the mobile app, or just me?
So right now it's just pro members. We are aware of that question, right? Like that's something that we're definitely thinking about for this tiered rollout. Like I said, we really wanted to sort of do this in waves and make sure that pros had access first. Right now, it's really useful for if you can roll for NPCs on there, which is really great. You can kind of poke around and see it. We're aware a lot of pros end up being DMs or GMs, so it's definitely something on our radar in terms of functionality and making sure we can get it into more hands as soon as possible. So we'll have more news coming on that kind of situation soon. But if you're a pro, jump in, play around with it a little bit, see if you can really use it for other player-controlled characters, and see how it can add to your 5th edition games. That would be my advice.
On that note, can pro subscribers develop sheets?
Oh, hang on. Did you have something to add, Morgan?
Yeah, I was going to add on there. Yeah, just to be clear, in case it wasn't from what Luke said, in the end, the mobile application will be available for all users. It's just
when it's live,
yes,
beta phase, and it's pro only.
That is an important thing for me to say. That I didn't say because it's so apparent to me, because it's been. But this is going to everybody. We have it out to pros right now, just for this beta period. Not going to be tied to subscription, nothing like that. We're going to have this available to everybody when we're at full release and everything like that. But just for now, it's a pro beta. That's a good point, Morgan. Thank you, because I just realized I should probably say that.
It was hinted at by what you said, but it wasn't totally clear.
Yeah, you get so deep in the weeds that the obvious things are the things you miss so much with this kind of stuff.
That's exciting though.
Can pros develop sheets for the mobile during the pro beta?
So
absolutely.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff. Day one, when I put out the tweet that was pro beta available, somebody mentioned us, and I don't even know which sheet author it is off the top of my head, but they were like, yeah, my sheet's ready on the app, you can use it. It was just immediately that it was available.
That's
Morgan, do you want to
cool.
talk more about that?
Wait,
yeah,
what?
we don't have the documentation ready for this just yet. So in terms of what are the best practices for creating a mobile sheet, that sort of thing, we don't have that prepped and ready to go, although we're hoping to get that out as soon as possible. I just talked to Dave about that earlier today. But yeah, the technology is there. The main thing you're going to want to do is switch your sheet over to using the new sanitization system. And that'll give you access to immediate queries and things like that so that you can have your character sheet to start to change its shape and configuration depending on what space it's got available to it. And that should be good to get you started.
I thought that was jokingly sarcastic. I didn't know that's cool as hell.
Yep.
Are you going to go do that as soon as we're done?
You don't know me. Yes.
Thanks. Our graphic designer, our brand manager, decided that he wanted to start a fight. So what is the best Gundam?
Gundam Unicorn or Burning Gundam?
Do you mean Gundam as in the suit, or do you mean as in the show?
Dylan's question was literally, what is best Gundam?
Oh, the MSN 04 Sazabi, obviously.
Although
Suit from Counterattack.
I do lean to Gundam Death Scythe a lot. It's a classic.
You big Wing fan?
Yes, I am.
Just wild beat communication? Yeah. I like Wing too. We could be the only two Wing fans here at Roll20. I've already had that fight with other people.
I'm gonna
keep
keep talking about Roll20 while those two talk about Gundam, because it's gonna happen.
I feel like if I speak up right now, I'm gonna have to turn over a nerd card or something. So you two continue to discuss.
I've got my
Morgan and I
Gundams
can
up
get
on
through
the
this so we can wrap up.
there.
Last October, dev team asked for feedback on the new token editing interface, and a revisit was promised after user feedback. Will this feature get attention? Sorry, that was truncated, but yes, it's actually something that we brought up again in our team to kind of be like, cool, what's the status? We need to actually update and get in there. So there's some stuff that is on the docket. I can't say when exactly, mostly because with obviously making sure the site is stable has been a priority for some reason. So I can't say when, but it's definitely actually on our stuff. Let's see. Would it be possible to add a function to share folders to players instead of individual notes? That sounds like an awesome thing for the suggestion forum.
Yeah, that sounds really useful, and I haven't thought of that before.
Bunny, can you link the suggestion form again, just in case?
I don't want to. Also, because Anna Lynn's been beating me to all of it. But yes, go find it.
Already in there.
Awesome. Oh my god.
Yep, see, she beat me.
Well, you snooze, you cruise.
I love snoozing. Snoozing's great. If a current game is duplicated, will the new game have the new sanitized character sheets, or is there a way to update?
That's a good question.
So whether or not the character sheets are using the new sanitization system or the legacy sanitization isn't based on the game. It's based on the character sheet itself. So the character sheet developer has a toggle they can set now in the JSON file that defines the character sheet, where they can choose to toggle it on or off. So that doesn't have anything to do with the game or copying the game over. Once that sheet updates to a version that's using either legacy or the new sanitization system, any game that's using that sheet will move over to that choice of system. So this is just about character sheet authors pushing updates.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, I don't need to do anything in my 5th edition game to like prepare it to be used in the app, right? If I've got the app, nope, yep, I'm all set.
That's a great question, Luke. Great answer, Morgan. Can you tell us a little bit more about module updates for UDL? People have seen some losses of custom content in some cases. To what degree is that bugs versus just the patching process? Morgan can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the patching process should not have touched that.
The patching process is intended to be non-destructive. There are some cases where, depending on how things were done, maybe if you copy and pasted something and used that to edit to riff off of on a new thing, where the patch might end up being destructive to it. Generally speaking, if running a patch does some damage to your game and removes something that you've put in custom, that's a bug, and that's something that you should definitely let us know about. It's not intended functionality. There may be some cases where it's something that's done in a non-standard way, and those bugs might be hard for us to get in and fix. There might be others that we're just unaware of, and we'll look at them as soon as we're aware of what they are and get some details, get a chance to look at your
Help
game.
Center, Gabe link, so we can copy the game and mess around with it and see what happened. Those are two things the devs
exactly
love to see. I want to ignore that one. Is Bunny going to be allowed, I'm assuming, off stream without a pirate impression? I mean, yeah, I'm the one running the stream, so I could end it.
Honey, why? What is this? Hey, you be nice. You be nice just because your pirate impression is lame. Don't take it out on them.
I mean, to be fair, no one knows how bad it is because I haven't done it. I do have a custom pirate coat, which is really cool and it's swishy. And that was actually my eldest's first costume. I made him a little pirate costume, and it was super funny. But we'll see. All right. Is Gabe? Are you okay?
You know, I think so. It's been a long week, but I can say genuinely, I enjoy what I do, and that has made a difference in my week. Because I at least come back to work, and no one at work, let me rephrase that, everyone at work gets their job done. Everyone at this company does their job, and that's a huge thing I appreciate, and I do not see enough in some other mediums. That's all I'm going to say.
I wish I could refute that, but you're not wrong.
Bunny, you do. Bunny, you...
So what percentage of users that have a subscription have a pro subscription? I actually don't know those numbers offhand. I'm not sure.
I don't either. I don't know if we could share that, to be honest.
Yeah. A percentage? Some sort of percentage? I'm so sorry. I don't remember at all anyway, but...
Yeah, definitely not something that I can recall off the top of my head.
The OR report, the next OR report will be coming out soon.
It's true.
Is that information?
I mean, that talks about like users and what kind of games and stuff. But you know, it has some cool stuff in it, right, Luke?
Yeah, it will. I have to write it still. It is coming shortly. We're really excited. We're kind of doing some cool stuff with that, but yeah.
In reference to our previous question we were answering about patches for UDL, in the chat, the War Priest said that if you modify something which gets patched, that it can get overwritten. I think that is true. There are certain ways in which if you're making modifications to things and those things ultimately get patched, that those changes can be overridden. And that's a known issue with otherwise non-destructive patches. That is a good thing to point out. And like I said, sometimes if you copy and paste something, they'll share IDs. And so if you copy and paste and then edit, you can still end up with the same problem.
Cool. Sorry, typing is loud. Question, why do hex grids use an invisible square grid?
I know that they do, but I can't say why that is the case.
I would check on the suggestions forum, see if there's already a thing for that, and
definitely
add in your info.
The grid and hex layouts, those are some of the oldest features. So that's a bit arcane for me. I'm not sure exactly why or how that rationale went into modifying it. I think the notion is that we're still needing to snap tokens, and that probably has some portion of a component to it. It is also, in my experience, I come from game development, so in my experience, I think a lot of times you want to draw hexes by putting a map onto rectangular shapes. By if you're trying to draw a hex map mathematically, it can be helpful to start from a grid as a base point. I'd have to delve deep back into my history to come up with the exact reasons why that's the case. But
well, squares have 4 sides and hexagons have 6 sides, so it's just it's just math, you know. It's just less sides.
Math. Well, that's a great question. Does the I'm curious if the invisible square grids are those something that are causing issues for folks or interfere with the way people are using it in a way that would be helpful for us to dig into?
Basically, yeah, talk to us, let us know.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot easier for us to figure things out. Is there a consideration for modules that have SRD-based creatures in the module to be updated with the WotC-based compendium if owned? For example, if I have the monster manual, most modules have the default name, token, and journal item, and we have to delete the entry and redrag it for the compendium to have the token art.
I think that would be a pretty complicated prospect for us to get in. It's definitely something that would be possible, but it's probably not going to be, of the things that we could be doing to make the compendium more impactful for people, that's probably not going to be something that we are picking up in the near future, but I don't want to speak for the team there. If that's something that's really impactful to folks, we definitely want to respond to it. But there is no innate connection between the data in one compendium and the data in another compendium right now, other than just the name of the creature. So getting that to be something that automatically maps over would be a pretty significant amount of feature work.
And that would actually potentially not be compatible with things like the Essentials Kit versus Player's Handbook versus Monster Manual versus all the different things. Because if you only have one, great. But if you have multiple, yeah.
Right. And do you change it to, and if they have the Eberron compendium, would you then map it to the Eberron version of that instead?
Right.
It gets pretty complicated.
But still, Gabe can talk about it with his team.
I literally can. Yeah. Like, so the nice thing is as strange it is to ask questions sometimes, asking questions does legitimately make it so that I and the rest of this team know what stuff to talk about. Like whenever we have team meetings, we literally talk about what stuff we want to see or add or improve, or like how we can improve it. And if we can improve something, if there's multiple things that we want that we can lead into one thing, then we have an idea of how to do it. So I'm glad you're asking the questions, because part of the reason I get quiet and start thinking is because I'm like, oh, well, how?
Gabe's thinking face is very dangerous.
Yeah.
It's awesome, but it's very dangerous.
It's bad. I have a planner for that reason.
One last question is, will Gabe's Jasper's Game Day adventure be available to others once it has been played?
If you wanted to. I never really write anything down, which is something that people never really know. Anytime I've run a one shot, I don't have any notes, but if you want it, and people want to play through the chaos that came out of my brain, I'll happily write down notes. I will look into writing up my notes after they run through the adventure and then making it so that other people could do it too, even if it's just like something small. I feel like that'd be something fun. Nice little Roll20 in-house project, because gosh, I got all this stuff that I want to use anyways.
I know how you feel on that though, Gabe. I improv so hard in my games. I have to look at my players' notes to figure out what I was doing.
I love player notes. It's so nice.
I'm going to just say that the hex thing is very interesting, and I didn't know about it. So the people who are like asking questions, I have someone in my team who is one of the best people I have met to bounce ideas off. So if there is solutions that can streamline it, we will figure it out. I have strong faith on that, especially because like maybe I'll make a hex game.
Maybe.
And then it's like, hey, blank, help. So I actually made some notes, and I'm gonna look into that.
All right. Since we got questions through, does anybody have, I don't know, certain cute, fuzzy
Leo
things nearby?
Leo, come here.
I have to release him. Hang on a sec.
Come here, Leo. Come here.
Yes, it's pet time.
Come here. Don't look at me that way. This is Bunny.
I love Gabe's dog so much.
Come
I
here.
want
Leo,
He's
buddy,
so
come
cute.
here.
He's such a grump. Oh, Morgan's puppy.
It's a laser. Yeah, come here.
Hi, you want to be internet famous?
This is the best part about working with Roll20 is I think everyone either has pets or seriously appreciates pets.
Okay, well, if we're picking up our large dogs and putting them in our laps, then let's go.
Oh, Leo, you're so cute. Oh, the baby. Oh, hello, Yanni, baby.
Hi.
He just woke up from his nap.
Yep, Leo did too. He's like, why are you doing this to me?
Okay, my day's made.
Look at you, giant baby. This is Aiden. Say hi to the internet.
Leo is super happy to be on stream, Gabe. Leo loved that.
He hates it. He smells like his breath stinks. He just woke up, just a nap breath. Oh, all right. Well, now he's released to do
Yeah. Well, now he knows that you're almost done.
Yeah,
Get away from the camera.
Thanks, Bunny.
You're welcome.
Thanks for this. He's gonna go steal my wallet. He does it all the time. It's a problem.
Right. Well, thank you all for coming. I hope you got questions answered, and I hope you go and those really cool points that you were making. Please talk to us. Suggestions forum is great. On socials, go be a nerd with Luke. He would love that. But yeah,
I'm gonna go look at hex maps right now.
Yeah.
I'm probably also going to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We will see you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.